Hello everyone, I'm Nick Buckler.
And I'm Veronica Meadows. Welcome to another episode of Around Town. We feature local businesses and fun people in Shelby Township.
With Valentine's Day fresh in our rearview mirror, 'twas the season for wine and chocolate.
Nick and I recently visited Michigan by the Bottle. It's a wine bar that local Shelby Township residents Courtney and Shannon Casey recently opened up. It saw so much success that they decided to open another location in Royal Oak.
Let's see what Michigan by the Bottle had bottled up for us.
Yeah, so right here in Shelby Township, we've been here a little over 2 years, and we're partnered with 6 Michigan wineries, and we have representation from all 4 major Michigan wine trails. And we have about 40 different wines on the menu at any given time, and people can come in and do tastings and flights. So we put everything on a placemat for them like this, and we number them on their sheets so they can kick back and taste at their leisure. And we have all different styles, so I know a lot of people are familiar with some of the sweet whites in Michigan, but we have a little bit of everything to kind of show the diversity of what Michigan can produce. So we have dry whites, we have a sparkling wine, dessert wines, we have dry reds, bold reds, middle of the road, pretty much anything that you're looking for. So any type of wine lover, whether you're just getting into it or you're already familiar with Michigan wines, can come in, try a bunch of different things and find something that they like.
Not only is Michigan by the Bottle a great place to sample wine, it is also a great place to hang out with friends, enjoy live music, or even educate yourself with wine education classes.
It's not just coming in and tasting wine, although everyone's welcome to do that Wednesday through Sunday. We're open to the public, but I'm kind of the cruise director of the operation, so it's really fun for me to plan a bunch of special events and cool things to put on the calendar. So we do have free live music every Friday night, so people can come out and enjoy some music. It's all local singer-songwriters, and there's no cover charge or anything. And of course, wine tasting during that as well. And then we have a bunch of wine education classes, which we like to bill as learning about wine without the wine snobs. It's comfortable for people of any level of wine knowledge. And our next one is coming up in March, and it's actually focused on the aromas in wine. So we'll be sniffing a bunch of different smells that you can smell in wine, and then actually tasting through some wines and practicing the skill. We also do yoga on wine, we do winemaker dinners, we do food and wine pairings with different local restaurants and different local stores. So we have quite a range of things for all different people and all different tastes in wine.
Courtney and Shannon took a chance when deciding to open Michigan by the Bottle. Unsure of how well it would catch on, they wanted to shed light on all of the Michigan wineries while doing what they love.
It was kind of a leap of faith. We started our main website, MichiganByTheBottle.com, in June of 2006, June of 2009, and we just wanted to focus on the wineries in Michigan because we had really enjoyed visiting them, and some of them really didn't have a lot of marketing or a lot of web presence, and we thought it would just be fun to do this website. So we started doing articles and podcasts and video features and contests, and it really took off. We had all these people who were coming to our Facebook page, coming to our website, who didn't seem to be united before, but were all Michigan wine lovers, so they could all come to one place. And when we went to events, we always felt like this is the industry we want to be in. This felt like home. And everybody would come up to us and say, I want your job. How do I get your job? And we'd have to tell them, this isn't our real job. This is just our fun side job. I was a reporter at the time, and my husband was in the banking industry. So we met someone in Spokane, Washington, who actually did something similar like this with a bunch of different Washington wineries, and we thought it was such a cool idea. So we started trying to do this here. I had never been done in Michigan before with multiple unaffiliated wineries to have an offsite tasting room under one roof. So it actually took a long time to get the state licensing because they were trying to decide if it even could really be done in this state. So that took a long time, but Shelby Township's government was really enthusiastic about it, so that was really helpful. They were really supportive of it. And once we got the state approval, and went on from there.
Business was so good at the Shelby Township location, they decided to expand their tasting room as they opened another location in Royal Oak.
So the Royal Oak store is a little bit bigger than our Shelby store, and there we are partnered with the same 6 wineries as here, but then 2 additional ones. So we also have Two Lads and Verterra. Two Lads is up on Old Mission, and Verterra is on Leelanau Peninsula. So we do have wines from those 2 wineries in addition to our 6 partner wineries here. And we are doing some different events there. We're piloting some new events over there. We're starting a book club actually, because we've had some requests for that. So that's going to be starting up in March. And we don't do the yoga over there. We only do that here, but we are doing some of the same events. We actually team up a lot with the Clean Plate here at Shelby, which is a few doors down. It's a vegetarian restaurant, and it's wonderful, and we do some vegan food and wine pairings with them. But the owner actually owns another location called the Cacao Tree Cafe in Royal Oak, so we're teaming up with her over there to do something similar in Royal Oak.
Okay, so we have all of these amazing Michigan wines here. Can you just start by telling us a little bit more about each one?
Sure. So our main goal here was to partner up with smaller wineries that had little or no distribution in the area that were using 100% Michigan fruit. So all the grapes used in these wines were either grown by the winemakers themselves or locally sourced from farmers in Michigan. So that was our main goal here. So while we do still have our main website, michiganbythebottle.com, that promotes the entire Michigan wine industry, here we're just partnered with a select number of wineries because we wanted to give some focus on those types of wineries. So some of the wines that I have pulled out, I pulled out one from each of our partner wineries, and these are all some of my favorites, so I'm a little biased here because I really enjoy these. But this one is a dry Riesling from Peninsula Cellars. So Peninsula Cellars is up on Old Mission Peninsula, which is near Traverse City. And I really like the dry Riesling because it's super food friendly. Also, it's really good by itself, so it's really versatile. And also, a lot of people who have had Riesling in the past, Riesling does really well in Michigan. So a lot of people, if they go to the Michigan wineries, they've had Riesling before. But a lot of them have late harvest Riesling, and that's usually a very sweet style of Riesling. So some people think, oh, that's the only type of Riesling there is, and if they don't like sweet wines, they think, I don't like Riesling. So I like to whip this one out when people are like, I don't like Riesling, it's too sweet for me. Like, this is a dry Riesling, try this. And they're usually really surprised. This one is probably my go-to right now because during the wintertime, I'm definitely a red drinker. Kind of feel like, you need that warming, heavier feeling of a big, bold red when it's cold outside. So this one is the Aviatrix Crimson from Chateau Aeronautique. And Chateau Aeronautique is over in Jackson, and the owner is a Delta pilot named Lorenzo Lizaralde, and he's a total character if you ever get out there and meet them. He's a very fun guy. But this one is a Bordeaux style blend, so meaning it uses grapes that are used traditionally in the Bordeaux region of France. And it's about equal parts Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So this is one of the bolder reds on our menu. And I like to recommend this to people who are especially skeptical of whether Michigan can produce reds. I say, you just try this one, right? So, and usually they walk out a believer. So Muse is a really cool one to me because I love sparkling wine, and this is a sparkling wine. It's done more in a frizzante style, so it's a little bit lighter sparkling wine than a fully sparkling wine. But one of the coolest things about this is the artwork that's on it is done by Stephanie Schlatter, who's from Grand Rapids, and all of her artwork is featured in our main space in our tasting room here and in Royal Oak. And the image on the front was actually the painting that she did for our grand opening, so she painted it specifically for us. And then my husband and I bought it because we couldn't bear to part with it, but it still hangs in the tasting room. And the winemaker loved it so much, he asked her if he could put it on this bottle. So we were really excited when we saw what this turned out like, and it's really popular here. And a lot of people say they only drink sparkling wine, bubbly, on special occasions, and I am a firm believer that bubbly is good any day of the week. So I really enjoyed this one too. This one is called 840. It's from Sandhill Crane, which is in Jackson, so right near Chateau Aeronautique. And there's a whole trail out there that a lot of people don't seem to know about, but it's a really good day trip. And this one is a port-style wine, so it's actually a dessert wine that's fortified with brandy. So it's a heavier, more viscous, sweet wine. It's really good with our double chocolate truffle from Detroit Chocolat that we feature here. They actually just moved to Shelby from Sterling Heights, so they are newcomers to the Shelby community. But this is going to be 18.5% alcohol, so definitely very strong, meant for small sips, not for a full glass, but it's really great for an after-dinner drink or with a dessert. This one is the 2012 Riesling from Gills Pier. Gills Pier is up on the Leelanau Peninsula, and it's up near the northwest tip of the Leelanau Peninsula, so a lot of people don't end up making it up there because I feel like they focus on the wineries at the bottom of the peninsula. So we always tell people, if you really want to make sure you get to Gills, start at the top of the peninsula and work your way down, because it is quite a drive to get there, but it's definitely worth it. And their Riesling, their 2013 Riesling, so the next vintage, actually won the best-in-class semi-dry white in the Michigan Wine Competition last year, and we do have that vintage actually at our Royal Oak store. Still working our way through the 2012 here. But this one's going to be a semi-dry. So if the dry Riesling is too dry for someone, but the late harvest is too sweet, this one's right in the middle. It's the perfect option. And then lastly, we have one from Domaine Berrien. Domaine Berrien's in the southwest part of the state, so in the Berrien Springs area. And a lot of people from Chicago actually use this as their up north. So it feels like more people from Chicago are aware of this wine trail than people from Michigan. But this one is a Lemberger, and I feel like a lot of people don't try Lemberger because they they think it has something to do with Limburger cheese, which it doesn't. So they're like afraid to try it. They can't picture what it's going to be like because they're used to Cabernet Sauvignon or, you know, Pinot Noir. If they've never heard of Limburger, they're a little apprehensive of it. It's a great wine. I definitely recommend that people try it. It's more of a medium-bodied, rustic wine with a little bit of inherent spiciness to the grape, and it's really great with food or on its own. So a lot of people who I've kind of prodded to try it have really found it as their go-to red. And this particular winemaker grows 100% of his own grapes, Wally Maurer from Domaine Berrien. So he has his own vineyards, and he controls the grapes from the moment they go into the ground as vines to the moment they become wine.
So it sounds like you can't really go wrong with any of these wines.
No, I mean, these are my particular favorites, and we actually just did a photo series with our staff where we asked them their favorites, so that's been on our Facebook page if people want some more ideas of things to try, because we all have different tastes. So, you know, I know some of the other staff members would argue with me about what their favorites are, but there's really a little bit of everything on our menu. We have several Pinot Noirs, we have some sweeter whites, you know, we have some other dessert wines, so there's really a ton of things to try. We have some fruit wines, so a little bit of everything.
What happens if somebody comes in and they're not a huge wine person, but they have friends or someone who wants to try to get them more into wine? How would you go about recommending things for them?
Well, it's a low-risk proposition is what I tell them, because our flights aren't very expensive. We're priced as a tasting room versus as a bar, so it's a lot more affordable to try a bunch of different things here. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the store and just picked out a bottle on a whim and got home and opened it and been like, I'm so disappointed in this bottle, you know, so that's why it's nice to try things ahead of time, especially if you're not a big wine drinker. So usually if people come in with their friends and they need assistance picking out wines, I try to ask them a little bit about what kind of beverages they usually like. You know, are they usually a beer drinker? Are they usually a spirits drinker? Are they not really an alcohol drinker at all? You know, do they drink juice? Or, you know, what do they usually drink? And do they usually like things that are sweet or not so into sweet? And then I kind of point them in the direction that I think they might like things. So they can try a bunch of different things is the nice part about it. So you're not committed to a full glass of anything. You can kind of bounce around, and then the things that you like, if you want to, you can take them home by the bottle.
Right, I was going to say, because you have all of the wines here, don't you?
Yep. Everything on our tasting menu is available by the bottle to take home. And then we also have a limited supply section of just kind of some random things that have been put on the trucks when they ship the wines from the winemakers. If they're like, hey, you know, introduce this to your customers, see if they like it. You know, sometimes we have some random bottles in our limited supply section. So if people have been here a lot and they want to try something other than what's on our tasting menu, sometimes they just pluck a bottle out of there and, you know, to get something different. But we are always rotating through different wines. We're always with these 6 wineries here, but we do rotate through different wines of theirs. So anytime they come out with some new things, or, you know, they're running out of things, we're switching up the wines on the menu.
So even if people do come here a lot, then they can always just get something.
Yep. And we are going to have, hopefully this year, a lot more release parties for some of the new wines that are coming out at the wineries. And in particular, I know we're going to be doing a release party in Royal Oak for some of the ciders that are coming out of Verterra Winery. So they're doing some bottled hard ciders, and we're going to have a big celebration around that, a bunch of different flavors. And we're hoping to do that with some more of the wines that are coming out of the wineries this year, too.
I'm not much of a wine drinker. What would you recommend for me? I generally like more of a beer, but not the IPAs or any of the microbrews, more of like the domestic style.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd have you come in and do a flight so you can try a bunch of different things. But you mentioned you've only ever had Cabernet Sauvignon before, right? And that's pretty much the limit of your thing. So I would probably recommend a bunch of different things for you to try so we can kind of assess what seems to stick out to you. So I'd probably start with the dry Riesling because it is super food friendly and it is good by itself as well. And if you end up not liking more of the sweeter wines, then that will, you know, it's still very fruit forward. But it won't have that lingering sugar feel to your mouth. And probably also recommend a Pinot Noir so we can see if you like a little bit lighter bodied red. Because were you a fan of the Cabernet Sauvignon or not so much?
I liked it. It was kind of a dry taste, but I kind of liked it. It was a good sipping style of beverage.
Okay, all right. So I'd probably have you try Pinot Noir just to see if you like a little bit lighter style of red. But then if you did like the Cabernet Sauvignon, I'd definitely have you try the Aviatrix Crimson. And then we do actually have a Cabernet Sauvignon from Chateau Aeronautique, so I might have you try that. And we have a wine that's a blend called Hogsback that's super popular from Peninsula Cellars, and that one is a Merlot Cab Franc blend. And that one is pretty bold. It's on the dry side, but not super tannic where it has that really drying effect to your mouth. But I think if you liked a Cabernet Sauvignon, that you would enjoy that one too.
Awesome, cool. For now, I'll just stick to the Michigan-made soda.
Courtney, thank you so much for having us. We had a blast. Michigan by the Bottle is located between M59 and 21 Mile Road on Hayes.
Do you have a sweet tooth? Well, you should. We paid a visit to Mia Dolce, a 25 Mile Road in Shelby, where we visited Kate DeLitto, local chocolatier, where she taught us the secret to her making chocolate. Mia Dolce is the place to go if you are looking for some tasty chocolate in Shelby Township. Located on the northwest corner of 25 Mile and Shelby Road, it is convenient for my constant chocolate craving.
Originally, we started out in 400 square feet. We're a tiny little place and specialize in custom chocolate, things like that. About a year ago, we added our line of chocolate bars. We do everything in-house. There's no wax, fillers, or preservatives in it. And currently wholesaling our chocolate bars, bunnies, and things like that to high-end gourmet markets in the area.
Owning any kind of business can be hard, but we asked Kate what she liked best about owning her own chocolate shop.
That's a great question. Everybody loves chocolate. So wherever we go, people are looking for chocolate. So, being able to make people happy. We make a lot of custom things for brides and for businesses and things like that. So we'll do what a lot of other places won't do, put logos on chocolate, make custom bar molds, things like that. So it helps other businesses and people sort of make a name for themselves with our chocolate. It's fun.
At Mia Dolce, the busiest time of year is the weeks leading up to Easter. They specialize in their famous chocolate Easter bunnies.
So these are the Easter bunnies you were telling us about. Just tell us a little bit more about them.
Well, we're starting to put the bunnies on the shelf. Feels like it's early, but it's really not. We start taking orders for Easter bunnies now. We've already started, and we generally try to have more interesting and different bunnies than you're going to find on other store shelves. And again, they're not horrible for you. They don't have the soy lecithin and wax and fillers and preservatives that a lot of other chocolate will have. So, we have our floppy bunny, and that one's the big one. He's almost 2 pounds. We also have a 4-ounce floppy bunny. I haven't made those yet, but those are going to be on the shelf by the end of this week for sure. We do fun things with bunnies as well and put them in a little mason jar with some jelly beans, just something fun, decorative you can put on the, table for Easter dinner or whatever. And then, all different sizes and different price ranges. If you're a guest somewhere, a box of chocolates with Easter eggs imprinted on the chocolate's fun. All different options. We do a lot of custom stuff as well, so if you prefer a box of all dark truffles, no problem, we can do that too.
What recommendations do you have for people if they want to order things for Easter?
Well, you can give us a call at the shop, 248-759-4419, or go online to our website. It's lemiadolce.com, and order online. Everything will be up by the end of this week, and you'll be able to order for pickup in the store, or we can ship it to you as well.
Would you recommend people order things a certain amount of time in advance?
Oh, definitely. There needs to be, if you're ordering online for us to ship it out, it's got to be at least a week before you want it to arrive. In a lot of cases, we do custom make things, so that would give us a day or two to get it made and packaged and shipped.
I was lucky enough to sneak a peek at how exactly the chocolate gets made at Mia Dolce. So this is where the magic happens, huh? This is where the chocolate gets made.
It is. This is where we dip our chocolate, one piece at a time, truly handmade.
So we're going to go in and do it ourselves, eh?
Yep. We'll show you how it's done.
Awesome. The process isn't entirely easy. First, you have to prep the equipment. Then it takes about 30 minutes to melt and temper the chocolate that is being used for dipping perfectly. Once you begin dipping, it turns into a waiting game. You have to let the chocolate set and cool. If you are like me and enjoy dark chocolate, you're in luck, because dark chocolate sets faster than regular milk chocolate. Wow, that really was interesting. Thanks again for having us.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Around Town. I'm Veronica Meadows, and unfortunately, this will be my final episode of Around Town, as I will be moving up to northern Michigan to begin a new job. Thank you so much to everyone in Shelby Township for having me over the past few months. I will miss you all terribly.
Well, Shelby, you are still stuck with me. I'm Nick Buckler. Be sure to join us next time for another fun episode of Around Town.